Welcome to this Last Mile Profits video, the last word on the last mile. We haven't talked about Australia for some time, so I'm really delighted that today we are going to look at an overview of what's happening in particularly out of home in Australia. Stay tuned to find out more. Experience the future of convenience with modern Expo parcel lockers. Cutting-edge innovations that bring parcel delivery to a fundamentally new level. Follow the link in the description to find the best solution for your business. So I'm really excited because we're going down under today. We haven't been in Australia or to Australia for quite a while, and we've got our new partner for Wojtek from Last Mile Experts, who's going to tell us a lot about the market. And what's really cool is Wojtek has a wealth of knowledge from Australia, but also from Europe and particularly Lokaland, aka Poland. So Wojtek, what can you tell us about Australia if you were to compare? What are the differences? What's important there?
It's definitely warmer at the moment. Great to be here, Marek, and thank you for this. I think that the first thing that springs to mind is obviously the size of Australia as a country. And the next thing that comes to mind naturally is that the population density is just so uncomparable to places like Europe that it's not even feasible to think of lockers. But it's not exactly true. It's one of the most urbanized nations in the world, and the population density is not that bad. So it does warrant some nice out-of-home infrastructure.
So basically what you're saying, and we had a chat on this before, that although the land mass is huge and population compared to the land mass is small, actually most people live in a couple of pretty large urban areas. So in that respect, even lockers can make sense.
Oh, definitely that is the case.
Is there something then, so, we got this picture of the size, we got the density in urban areas. Is there anything else that you would say is particularly interesting and specific to Australia when it comes to our favourite subject, which is out-of-home parcel services?
On the business landscape, you've got Australia Post, which is a dominant force. They practically own the market, and they are the one biggest player. So in that sense, they have obviously much broader role to play in the community, not just delivering parcels and letters, but they are a linchpin for many other services, especially in the rural area. We'll probably not touch on rural because you had a piece on that very recently. So that's the one big player, and they have their own, of course, out-of-home service, and they have like 4,300 post offices and well over 700 lockers.
Wojtek, one question before we go on to the others. I seem to recall that it was a closed network. Have they moved towards opening it, or is it still fully closed?
It's a closed network, and come to think of it, it's a strategic choice. At least years ago, that was very clearly communicated that no, they're not opening it to anybody else. Of course, other players would love to use the infrastructure, but will that happen? Time will tell.
Okay, great. So tell us about the others. I know certainly our friends at Hubbed, David and the team, are probably quite an important player.
Oh yeah. They, in terms of PUDO, they are the player. Especially after the acquisition of Parcel Point, they now have something in order of 3,000 locations, and are definitely the main player in this space.
Cool. Okay, so you got the Post, who are dominant. Then you've got probably the most meaningful in terms of out of home alternative, which is Hubbed, and I'd guess Hubbed is still largely PUDO based.
Yes, it's pure play PUDO.
Okay, who else is around? Is there anyone else around?
There have been a few attempts. Of course, there is Amazon, and I think over a year ago they had something in order of 900 lockers, and of course they use PUDOs as well. So they are in that space, but they don't advertise too much on their plans, of course.
But you know what? It's a little bit strange because Amazon, either if they really decide to blitz a market, they're in there and they're visible. The UK, I think, is a perfect example of a market where basically, I can't remember if they're number 2 or 3 at the moment in the market, but they've gone from nowhere to being a major carrier. Poland, delicately speaking, I'm underwhelmed because they just more or less don't exist in terms of the last mile. But Australia as well, 900 lockers for a country the size of Australia is not a lot.
Oh, and a few thousand PUDOs as well. So that's a
yeah. But the PUDOs are third party, I'd imagine, or are they dedicated?
Yeah. But look, they are very much using Australia Post for their deliveries. So that's also if they don't have to build their own infrastructure, why would they?
Okay, well look, I'll tell you, Wojtek, because we have a unique situation in that with your sort of past experience from InPost, you know Poland pretty well. And Poland, I call it Lockerland because it is the market in Europe in terms of locker development and frankly out-of-home development. If you were to compare, let's say, the most developed locker market in Europe versus Australia, what comes to mind?
Massive gap. I mean, in terms of locker availability and locker usage, it's two different worlds. I think it's fair to say that Australia would be at the beginning of that journey towards fully embracing the lockers as a delivery option. I think it's well underway. It's not like the lockers are well used and well liked in Australia, but in terms of coverage and prevalence, and there's still plenty of room.
Well, look, in that case, I think this is really, really cool. Thank you, Wojtek, for that input. It's clear that we can watch and observe. Fortunately, we've got people like you in Australia who can help transfer that knowledge from the most developed markets in Europe to Australia. But I think it's been really, really great. Thanks for watching this Last Mile Profits video. For more up-to-date last mile news and analysis, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn.